Pleasant afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Can we please stand for the singing of the national anthem? Today, Saturday, 27th September, I'm honored to serve as your conscious chair this afternoon for what promises to be a very joyous occasion, an occasion full of joy and laughter. This afternoon, we are going to be having two competitions, a national humorous competition and an evaluation contest. To start proceedings off, without further ado, the humorous speaking competition, it serves a purpose to test the creative wit and imagination of those contestants involved. This afternoon we're going to see a variety of techniques being utilized in an effort to make you, the audience, laugh. The contestants for this competition, they are aware of the rules and regulations governing. They have drawn their positions and they will speak in the following order. First, Mr. Carlisle Fletcher. Secondly, Mr. Kamau Haynes. Third, Michelle Ann Lovell Williams. And last, Mr. Kendall Garcia. So without further ado, let the competition begin.
I told you once, I told you twice, and I'm telling you for the last time, woman, cut it out. Every Saturday evening, when all decent married women are at home either making dinner or having dinner with their family, you are gone. Gone with this bunch of junkers who call themselves Toastmasters, toasting to this, toasting to that, or toasting to the other. You could have joined the Toastmasters, but no, you want to be with the men. Mr. Contest Chair, Mr. Area Governor, distinguished judges, distinguished guest fellow Toastmasters, I'm begging you all, talk to this woman. Since she joined this Toastmasters thing, she has changed. Or, as she would put it when she wanted to show off on me and use her big words of the day, she has gone through a metamorphosis. I don't know who in Toastmasters told her that she is an evaluator. But this woman going around evaluating everything and everybody. Imagine she evaluating the President of the Republic, the Prime Minister, the leader of the opposition, the news reporter, even we old priests. The same priest who married us. The same priest who christened all our children. The same priest who buried her mother and her grandfather. All of a sudden, she finds he is eating up his word endings. And his speech lacks structure. And his subject and verb are not in agreement. I don't know what is wrong with this woman. Last week, Friday, was our anniversary. At her insistence, we decided to go for dinner at the Hyatt. It left a hole in my wallet, I must say, but the food was nice. After dinner, we went out dancing, and we had a ball. When we reached home, we decided to reenact the events of our honeymoon night. And things was going great. All of a sudden, when I was approaching the pinnacle of ecstasy, the woman jumped out. When I asked her what happened, she said I was saying, and she can't take that. I told her, woman, this has nothing to do with Toastmasters. When we go out now, is a different problem. If she happened to meet any of her Toastmasters friends, she would nudge me. Don't say anything. And you know Toastmasters. Toastmasters are friendly people. They love to make conversation. They love to ask questions. And sometimes it's simple questions like, what is your name? Where do you live? And I have to stand there as though I am deaf and dumb. I cannot take the embarrassment anymore. So that is why I decide that I have to cut it out. My grandmother always told me that where the horses reach, the jackass can reach too. And I said to myself, if she, who failed common entrance 3 times and failed school even twice, could go to Toastmasters and learn to speak and evaluate, I could do it too. So I tell her I join in Toastmasters. Who tell me to do that? The woman get crazy. Toastmasters is not for people like you. You have noticed who they have in Toastmasters? It's doctors, accountants, lawyers, business executives like God and all these people. She run in the corner and she pick up a Toastmaster magazine and she bring it and she say, you see, look at here. Toastmasters, where leaders are made. You see Gardner mark anywhere there? But knowing that this woman is a stranger to the truth, I decided to go and find out myself. And would you believe, when I went and met this membership person, she was so nice and accommodating. She said to me, Toastmasters is for everybody. And as a matter of fact, you know how long we're looking for somebody like you? A strong man who would stand up and help cut out all the nonsense going on in Toastmasters. And she told me also that today is Humorous speaking day. And I am free to enter. So that's why I decided to come here and talk today. That is why I decided to talk about you, Wendy. Because you are the biggest joker I know. Contest chair.
In a month's time, St. Augustine campus of the year, as an event that started in 2004 with about 300 local contestants, it has become an international event catering to over 1,000 participants. I first ran this race in 2010 in pouring rain, as depicted by the photographs behind me, which caught me on the cusp of fainting. The first thing I did when I revived in the sick bay was knock over the oxygen tank I was attached to, searching for a medal. This is testimony to the fact that I did pass the finish line as unconsciousness engulfed me. Executives, specially invited guests, fellow Toastmasters, I am deeply honored to present to you the Run to Nowhere. Each year, as preparation for this event, I gradually increased my distance the preceding months. I started off with 5 kilometers in June, 8 in July, 11 in August, 15 in September, 18 in October, and only the race day, I ran the 21 full kilometers. I have to digress here, however, to let you in on a little secret. Before any athletic endeavor, to maximize performance and
achieve my best possible result, I have to have a clear mind, a sound heart, and an even clearer stomach. Last September, I switched my routine to morning runs as work and parental commitments prevented me from running on an evening consistently. So up I got at 4 a.m. with the plan being to run from Curep to Takariga and back between the hours of 5 and 6 a.m. on the priority bus route. On my way up, I felt a little niggle in my stomach, but I dismissed that. Butterflies, excitement from the early morning run. By the time I made the turn at the Eddie Hart grounds, that niggle had become a full churn in my gut. Now everyone here knows when certain internal functions are compromised, you have to maintain a balanced pace. You cannot go too slow as to catastrophically tip the scales, nor can you go too fast so that you're caught short. I tried my utmost to maintain that balanced pace onto my belly, to brain, to bum, synapses started firing. By this time, I reached the McCoy lights, with whom still 2 miles away, my brain declared that option no longer viable. I was to frantically seek option B. At this juncture, daylight was rising. I could see persons on the westbound lane of the priority bus route awaiting transportation to school and work in Port of Spain, while on the eastbound where I was, there was nobody. As I kept on running, I saw what I was looking for, a large patch of grass where I could jump. With neither thought, and with time running virtually short, in one smooth motion, I leapt over the railing onto relief below. Unfortunately, the morning dew had caused the grass to be wet. As soon as my feet touched the turf, I slipped and fell flush onto my back. This fall knocked the wind, as well as more descriptive stuff, out of me. As I lay there, looking at the brightening and beautiful morning sun, I started to laugh with incredulity at my predicaments. This serene moment was interrupted by a growl right next to me. I twisted onto my stomach to come face to face with 3 snarling dogs, whose home I evidently violated, coming as I did from the sky, suddenly and subsequently smelling. Well now, sympathy and mirth were replaced by the urgency from before. With one hand, I grabbed the tall grass, and with the next hand, I waved my running shorts at the dogs to keep them from attacking me. This entire ordeal lasted about 90 seconds, but felt like 90 minutes. And to exacerbate things, a loud neighbor asked in the morning, "What's going on, so? We're making them dogs bark." I quickly wrapped up, leaving my boxers as a souvenir of sorts. No, quite embarrassed and not wanting to return to the priority bus route, I decided the eastern main road was my best option, lest anyone from above had seen me. So I took the eastern main road, casually strolling until I passed a young girl and her mother, with the young girl saying, "Ew, mommy, why that man look and smell so?" Well, no, that was the end of Mr. Cool. I literally sprinted from there all the way home, which is still over a mile away. I luckily reached there with no further incident. That, folks, was a run that took me everywhere, yet no particular place. It was indeed, for all intents and purposes, a run to nowhere. Thank you.
My name is Alexia, and just because I'm small and cute, this big fat bully in school named Lennox always interfering with me. Lennox always causing me to get licks because of things he did. So last week Thursday, after Lennox caused me to get 3 licks in front of the whole school, I decided it was time to turn the tables and show Lennox that even the longest rope has an end. Lennox always getting me in trouble from since we were in ABC. And last week Thursday, while I was playing in the yard, Lennox ran up to me and gave me a green marker and said, "Hold this to me, you little girl." So I put the marker in my pocket. Next thing I heard the principal saying, "Who has that green marker? Who has the green marker?" Lennox say, Alex, miss, Alex. Principal hold me by my ears and carry me by a wall. On the wall was written, Principal Mary is a bleep dog. Now, I don't say those kind of things, but who had the green marker? The principal say, well, you have the marker, you're going to get the licks. Principal pull out the guava whip named Sergeant. She called it Sergeant because she said the sergeant will keep you in line. And I was getting Sergeant all over the yard. And you know what happens when your mother and the principal are friends. So in 2-2's, mommy was in school too. Walking with the leather strap she called loving. And I was getting loving all over the yard, all again. So that was 2 licks I got in school so far. The next thing you know, my grandmother decided to pass through the school that day. Heard about the commotion, and then gave me a licking with her slippers. Granny slippers didn't have a name. But all the licks I got, the children started to call me Alexia. I was so upset. I went to Lennox. I said, Lennox, why you set me up again? Why you make me get licks again? Lennox watched me and say, so what you could do, little girl? What you could do? I said, what I can do? No problem. The thing about Lennox is that Lennox was greedy. He was real greedy. So it was easy to trick Lennox with anything with food. So I went home because I remember Mommy had something in the cupboard in a bottle called Sene. You know about Sene? Yes, some of you had Sene days. And I decided that I was going to give him some of that Sene. Mommy used to say, if you use 1 teaspoon, that will do the trick. 1 teaspoon wasn't good enough for Lennox, so I gave him a whole cup. But I mixed it with some chocolate milk. The next day I went to school, and recess time I sat on the step and I put my chocolate milk next to me. Lennox came up. He said, small girl dies to me. I said, oh gosh, Lennox, you're going to take my stuff again? Leave it alone now. Well, you know, Lennox didn't have time with me. Before I could turn around again, he drank the whole thing. Remember, 1 teaspoon could do the trick. So when we went back to class, I make sure I position myself to see what was going to take place with Lennox. So I sat down there and I watched across by him. I saw Lennox start to fan. Copybook. Fanning. Then he started to sweat. Sweat started to come down like rain. Then I see Lennox start to ease and squeeze. I couldn't help myself. I went across by Lennox and said, Lennox, you all right? Leave me now, little girl. I said, okay. The next thing I see, 10 minutes after, Lennox jump up. Miss, I want to go to the toilet and I want to go now. Miss say, you always trying tricks. Stay right there. Well, you know, I was in my glee because this is the first time I got to work some revenge on that wicked boy. Then I see Lennox start to turn and twist. It was like if he was turning purple. Like a little Barney. Then Lennox jump up. He said, Miss, I can't hold it no more. And it was explosion time. Lennox couldn't help it. He had to jump over the desk and run to the toilet, leaving a nice little brown trail behind him. With that commotion, the whole school started to laugh. You can imagine the laughter after this little boy wicked to you whole 5 years or so in the school. Man, whole lunchtime, Lennox in the toilet. Every time you pass by the toilet, you're hearing, oh God, oh God. When it was time to go home is when Lennox now coming out of the toilet. And of course his pants soiled, so you know he couldn't put on that to go home. He had to get something from Miss' cupboard. All Miss had in her cupboard was pink Pampers. And the Pampers had a picture of Daffy Duck on the back. So when he was walking out to go home, the children was saying, what's up, Doc? When Lennox saw me out in the yard, he says, it's you, Constance, you did this to me. I said, me? What you could do, big boy? What you could do? It was my time to get back at Lennox. I was contented in knowing that after all the wickedness this boy did to us, I was finally able to teach him that every long rope has an end. Mr. Chair.
Please welcome to the lectern, Kendall Garcia.
Lights, camera, action. If we made a movie about your life, what would it look like? Master Contest Chair, fellow Toastmasters, good afternoon. I have long been a fan of movies and often wondered if my life was set to the silver screen, what would it look like? What would be the script and what would be my role? Would I play the handsome, dashing hero or the even more handsome, dastardly villain? Is this an adult movie, comedy, horror, or suspense? People, what would be my movie called? And who would come to see it? How was your childhood? Mine was like an old Chinese kung fu movie. You know, the type that was done in Mandarin and badly dubbed over into English, so that the words and actions never quite matched up. My dad would say, son, don't ever smoke. It's a nasty habit. As he lit up his 39th butt of TD. Later on, he would send me out for a refill and remind me that hard work is the key to success. But don't forget a lottery ticket with the change. Lying was strictly forbidden. However, if the shopkeeper asked for him, I was to say, my daddy not home. And of course, no kung fu movie was complete without the epic beatdown, which came if I got the order wrong. He would quickly introduce the brown leather belt, leaving me black and blue. Every offense had the same consequence. We can call that one, Enter the Angry Dragon. How is your love life? Mine is like a romantic comedy that's neither romantic nor funny. Early attempts to meet girls were met with laughter, finger pointing, and more laughter. It seemed that I could have a career in comedy. However, I could only make pretty popular girls laugh at me. It paid nothing and cost my dignity. But eventually, I got someone to like me. Then she left. Along came another, but she left too. This pattern repeated itself more times than myself or my therapist can count. In fact, a plethora of very vocal women would have me placed in a Stanley comic next to Wolverine and Cyclops because they all couldn't wait to call me their X-Man. So much so, I came to think maybe I could be a life coach or motivational speaker because apparently nothing made a woman believe in herself more than a few dates with me. After a brief, passionate relationship with my MasterCard, she was 100% sure she could do better with her life. My broken heart became a launch pad for their success. Yay for them. We can call that one when everybody left Kendall again. Anyone here has kids? Good for you. Parenting has to be a sitcom where the kids and the grandparents get a laugh. There is no certification body for parents. We simply do the best we can with the resources we've got and hope it comes out well. My 9-year-old daughter comes home with a grade C. She and everyone else is disappointed because clearly she has A+ genes. We sit down and have a family meeting. We agree to a new schedule, new diet, new tutor. I pay for everything and pick her up Monday through Saturday from lessons. I don't need a life. I'm a professional parent. 6 months later, another C. Daughter, what happened? Daddy, my life is so hard. Seriously? Is it the 10 steps from your room to the kitchen for food? Or the 20 steps to the car? Or maybe the 3 chores per week you do? See, Daddy, I knew you'd understand, and skips off to play. Her granny cracks up and then chimes in with the punctuation that parents of today don't do it like we used to do long ago. We can call that one, why on earth did I have kids and live so darn close to my parents? Who here has a job? My last job had an ending like an epic throwback war movie. I could never understand why people discuss their problems but never do anything to solve them, as if we are all sitting in parliament. My colleagues would complain about the conditions, the equipment, and the pay during break time, but never speak up during staff meetings. So I took it upon myself to be the Leonidas, the William Wallace, the Maximus. But apparently, none of them ever saw these movies. When I stood up in the staff meeting to voice their concerns, these cowardly sheep stayed silent, leaving me to look like the rabble-rouser, the troublemaker, the duke of discontent, because I was the only one with a dissenting opinion. This earned me a spot on management's least wanted list until I left the job. We can call that one Braveheart and the 40 Cowards. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one life to live. There are no rehearsals and so far no confirmed sequels. I can best liken it to a foreign language film, which may be hard to understand at first, but if you take the time to pay attention and read the subtitles, you can discern what's going on. Learn and adapt as it progresses. In this way, you can actually appreciate and enjoy it, even if you don't always get it. Live life lustily. Laugh and lollygag. Learn even if you're getting licks. We are all stars, so don't be afraid to shine. I can call it, live a wonderful life. It's the only one we've got. What's the contest share?
Mr. Fletcher, how was it? Quick question. The term is real when we're pink. Are you a real man?
Of course.
What do you enjoy most about speaking humorously?
The audience response. Sometimes they laugh when I speak, and that makes me feel important.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Mr. Fletcher. You're a governor of Lamb. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Kamau Haynes. That's enough. So Haynes, I notice you have an accent.
Yes.
What country are you from?
Barbados.
Barbados. Excellent. You enjoy running in Trinidad, or you run a lot
No,
in
it's
Trinidad?
something pick up here.
Pick up here. Great. What's your favorite event?
You have
You half marathon. Enjoy the competition?
I didn't expect it comes from that.
All right. Excellent. So Haynes. Michelle Yan Lavelle Williams. When I went to school, I went to Pleasantville in the summer. We used to wear red pants, white jeans, Mr. Kendall Garcia. Mr. Garcia, your speech, My Life at the Movies. You mentioned karate. All right, apart from karate, what other types of movies you like?
I like epic Cold War movies.
Name one?
Ben-Hur.
Ben-Hur. Excellent. Charlton Heston, is it?
Yes.
Great. Excellent. Mr. Garcia. Thank you, Mr. Governor. Our next competition, we're moving on. Our next competition for this afternoon will be our evaluation contest. In the evaluation contest, we have a test speaker who gives a speech, and there are contestants who will critique that speech. This contest will test a contestant's listening skills, their analytical skills. The contestants have been briefed. They all are aware of the rules. And the contestants will be in the following order. First would be Mr. Kendall Garcia. Second, Ms. Nichelle Emmanuel. Third, Ms. Deanne Charles. And fourth, Atiba Xavier Johnson. Our test speaker for this afternoon will be Mrs. Joy Simpson, and the title of her speech, Saving for a Rainy Day. Please welcome to the podium our test speaker, Ms. Joy Simpson, Saving for a Rainy Day.
I once knew a man. He was a good man, law-abiding citizen, very mannerly, very respectful, but he was cheap. He actually knew the number of grains of rice in a pound. And if by chance you would snitch a few of them while he was not looking, he would miss them, all right. To get something out of that man's hand, you would have to have good teeth, because you will have to burn his fist to get it open. Do you know anyone like that? Contest chair, executive members, distinguished judges, fellow Toastmasters, specially invited guests. Good afternoon. Most of us sitting here in this audience have grown up under humble circumstances. I do not believe, or if I'm wrong, please correct me, that anyone came down with royalty, wealth, gold, diamond, silver. Okay, we have grown up under very humble circumstances. And there are certain words of wisdom which were given to us by our parents. One of them, save for a rainy day. How many of us know that expression? Save for a rainy day. Another one, do not hang your hat where your hand cannot reach. Are we acquainted with that one? And those pieces of advice came out of solid experience, because our foreparents lived under very challenging circumstances. Money was scarce, other resources were scarce, so they learned by bitter experience how to struggle to make ends meet. Today, times have changed somewhat, and we are in a better position than our foreparents once were. However, I notice that there are still some people who take those words of wisdom to an extreme. They take it seriously. And by so doing, they shortchange themselves and short-circuit the process of self-fulfillment. They short-circuit the lives of their family members and friends. They take the fun out of life. Some of them may call it being frugal. I call it being downright cheap. And it's easy to distinguish between the two. Frugal individuals, they know the value of hard work. They make wise use of their resources. They save a little for a rainy day. They spend on their families. They enjoy their lives, and they have something to give, to share with those around them. While on the other hand, the cheap star, he would be the one splitting a 2-ply roll of toilet paper to make it last for as long as possible. He would be the one procrastinating about buying a little roll of duct tape so that he can repair his shoes and the car seat and the window in his house. He would be the one who would hang out the tissue paper to dry and reuse it. He would be the one who would, now this is not Trinidadians, okay? He would be the one who would urinate in a container, use it to fertilize his plants in the garden so that he could save on the water bill. He won't have to flush so often. Yes, I've heard about it. It's true. It is true. We are shortchanging ourselves when we behave in this manner. Cheap. What about the clothes? There are persons who go around wearing raggedy, tattered garments that need to have been long retired from active service, while they have piles and piles in their cupboards, not using them at all. I knew a man, I'm speaking from experience. What about the dinnerware? Our dear beloved ladies, we wash them, we polish them, and we put them back into our cupboards every year. We do not use them. We are saving them for what? Special occasion, company. Lord Nelson, a famous Californian, recognized those people and he sang about them. Saving that for company. My silverware? No, don't touch it. Don't touch it. What is the occasion? Saving that for company. But we ask ourselves why? Why do these things happen? Is it that we do not consider ourselves good enough to sit at our tables with our brand new lace towels and have a meal with the beautiful silverware? Is it that we think that we are not important enough to lie on sheets, silk sheets that have been given to us as presents? Some of them are still wrapped in their Christmas paper. Is it that we are putting material things before the person? We have to consider, because we are seriously short-changing ourselves. And we have to think. Someone said there are two classes of people in the world: those who feel the rain and those who get wet. Which class do you belong to? Contest chair?
All contestants will now be escorted out of the room by our Sergeant of Arms for this afternoon.
I did that.
And they will be given 5 minutes to do their evaluations. As a result, we have been put on hold. A hold or sometimes what somebody may refer to as a pause can be used for different things. During a pause, one may share jokes. During a pause, one may observe silence. However, during a pause, I prefer music. Most of us here are customers of TSTT. We're all familiar with trying to wait on a customer rep. I hope no one is from TSTT. Please don't be offended. One thing I give them credit for however, is the music that plays really cool. I enjoy it. I love it. And at this time, on the way to our ancestors, I hope you enjoy it the same. Thanks for your indulgence. Our first speaker will be Mr. Kendall Garcia. So I'd like to welcome
Master Contest Chair, special invited guests, fellow Toastmasters, good afternoon once again. I would like to nominate Ms. Joy for the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Volunteering for duty in front of a group of fault-thirsty evaluators has to be an act of valor. So thank you, Ms. Joy. I felt your piece was very interesting and thought-provoking. It was very timely as debate on our own national budget is still raging. It's very topical as many of us here in the audience spend most of our days and much of our nights pursuing wealth and our earnings. Don't count that as an app, please. You made very good use of the space initially. However, I felt you centered in around this area a bit early and kept it there. We had use of more of the space and I thought you were going that direction. However, having settled here, you did really work this little area. Your use of hands was good in parts as you used your body language to support the speech. However, you tend to come back and rest here, which I myself am trying to work with, so it's not death penalty worthy, but it's just noteworthy. You had a good tone, pace, and pronunciation throughout the speech. At no point did I see you rush, even when the lights probably came on. And there was very good descriptive language, such as splitting the two-ply paper in two and recycling the urine. That's very interesting. I felt it was very good the way you drew the line between frugality and cheapness and encouraged us all to live a little, questioning what do we really value, material possessions or the quality of life that we enjoy today, living in the moment. Then you close with the very interesting question. You know, there are those who feel the rain and those who get wet, making it seem that you cannot get wet and feel it at the same time. But it's good thought for us to part with. Altogether, I felt it was a very good piece, and I look forward to hearing more from you in the future. Thank you.
We now have 1 minute. Present. We will move on to our third contestant, Ms. Deanne Charles. Please welcome Ms. Deanne Charles.
Saving for a rainy day. That's what my grandma used to say. area executives, esteemed judges, specially invited guests, fellow Toastmasters, and speaker Joy. I'm not seeing Joy. Joy. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you very much for bringing back the good old days. I loved your opening, and I love the personal experience. That's so important when one is trying to present a speech. It means more when you can bring things to the front that pertain to you. I like the way you were able to use your comparisons, and you had us looking at spending and the ways that we should be spending money. Your gestures, it's something that you were pointed. You were able to tell us things, and you knew just where to say, what to say, and how to use the gestures accordingly. I would have liked to have seen you move a little bit. Somehow you seem to be right here, and I liked how you came up to us and not stay all the way back here. But move around and come to this side, spend a few minutes, look straight in the faces, and come to the other side and do the same thing. I believe too, at some points, I was a little concerned about whether you were asking us to save for the rainy day versus the self-fulfillment. I was trying to connect the two. And I believe I would like to recommend that perhaps maybe you were trying to give us a lot of words of wisdom, and perhaps maybe we could have spent a little more time just focusing on the actual monetary aspects. But it was a speech that really pertained to us, brought back memories, and I would like you to look at this as a stepping stone even as you move on to your speeches that you're going to be doing in the future with respect to your competent communications, etc. I would like to also recommend your eye contact. As I said, I want you to remember that. I would like you to also continue with your vocal variety. You have a real voice that can carry, and I believe that it's going to take you places, because I don't even think that you realized that your language and your voice were meshing together. But I really enjoyed your speech, and I want you to keep going on. And thank you for showing me how to save for a rainy day, and really for me to identify which one I am. Thank you, Mr. Contest.
For this afternoon's evaluation contest, Atiba Xavier Johnson.
Mr. Contest Chair, Toastmaster Joy Simmons, congratulations on the delivery of your test speech titled Saving for a Rainy Day. I'm not sure what level you are in Toastmasters, but I think that this speech is well apt for the advanced manual called Speaking to Inform. So you're well on your way to achieving great things. A few positive elements of your speech to me was your speech delivery. In terms of your gestures, the use of your gestures, I found it to be very effective, which helped to create a greater impact with regards to your speech. Another positive element of your speech was your use of no notes. I think that to be a very positive speech quality, and by utilizing no notes, it enabled you to connect with your audience by maintaining that consistent eye contact. Other positive elements of your speech are your speech content and your speech structure. In terms positive, your opening, and it read, I once knew a man, a good man, but he was cheap. And that was a good element. That, the way you said cheap, that change in your vocal variety, it created a greater impact. Moving forward, one thing I would caution you on is never to make generalizations about your audience. There was one part where you stated most of you grew up in humble circumstances, and that word most in the English language, it can be considered a sweeping generalization. And by using that word, what would happen, it can tend to alienate other members who may not, or who may not have grown up in such circumstances. In other positive elements of your speech, I thought your vocal variety, it was good, but at certain elements, it was very monotone. So I encourage you as you move forward to be mindful of that. In summary, I congratulate you on an excellent speech delivery. I encourage you to pursue the Speaking to Inform manual. I think you have a skill there, and I think you do very well in that manual. And I look forward to your subsequent speech deliveries. Mr. Contest Chair.
One to come to receive their certificates of participation, and to assist me with this, I would also like to welcome the president of the Nupio Toastmasters Club, Ms. Sita Sedley. Seeley. First, I'd like to welcome Mr. Kendall Garcia. Garcia, based on your profile, I see you enjoy chess.
Yes.
Now, when I think of chess, I think of a game of imagination. I think of a game that requires great mental skill and ability. Now, for every chess player, there's a particular piece on the board that they love the most, whether it's the pawn, the rook, the knight, queen, or the king. My question, which is your favorite piece?
My favorite piece is I have two favorite pieces. I like the knight for attacking because it can attack you on a corner, which is unique. And you might be facing up against an opponent and thinking it's coming from here when boom, it comes on that way and it's over. But I also love the pawns, because the pawns give us hope. The pawns start off as nothing and could graduate to a queen or anything it wants to be if it moves smartly.
So it has inheritance, it has potential.
Yes.
Excellent. Gracias. Next, Ms. Deanne Charles. Ms. Charles, I used to be an avid fan of cricket. I used to support watch cricket whole day, behind the TV glued. I see you love international cricket. My belief, I think that is shared by many, is that a lot of people are now in the sport for money. If you were to give a piece of advice to our up and coming players, what would it be?
Up and coming players, money is not everything. Yes, it is your job. But don't let us, as a fan, lose the real sense of cricket. We come out there as a fan to look at you. So we want to see your skills. Money isn't everything, because some of them play nonsense and they get the same amount of money as others who are playing really well.
Excellent. Ms. Charles? Mr. Tiba Xavier Johnson. Traveling. I've been to Tobago. I've been to Israel, I've been to London. Not for that long, but it intrigues me when you mention that you enjoy traveling. If there's one place you could recommend to the audience that they should visit, or as they say, one place to see before they die, what would it be? Where would that place be, and why?
I would say Peru, specifically Machu Picchu. When I went there, it was an out of this world experience. I never, in my wildest dreams, thought that such a magnificent structure was created so many years ago. and has more or less stood the test of time. And it's a very peaceful and serene area, and I think I would recommend it to anyone.
So Johnson. At this time, I'd like to hand over the lectern to our area governor, Mr. Godfrey Ransom, who will be conducting our business segment.
Thank you, Mr. Contest Chair. I'll be brief. First, how many of you are aware of our district website? Show of hands. How many of you are aware of our district website? Show of hands. All right. Well, the district has a website, and if you look at the agenda in the left-hand corner, you'd see it's www.caribbeantoastmasters.com. So please, and especially club PROs, you're advised to, in fact, contribute to newsworthy items to the website. And of course, I expect that this event will be publicized, right, in the district website, so you'll see exactly what TNT has to offer in terms of humor. And question 2, when does the Smedley campaign end? Huh? 30th of September, and that's when? Tuesday. In other words, my friends, we got just 3 days again to get your 5 new members to sing Bingo Smedley. Clubs, please use these, well, the weekend and Monday, to challenge yourselves to really move on to this campaign winner. 5 members. And counting. 3 weeks to go for what? District Conference in St. Lucia. Show of hands again. How many of you have booked your tickets, registered, ready to go? Oh boy. Oh my God. This is really a joke, boy. It's really humorous. Huh? We got to do better than that. We got to do better than that. So please, please. It's not too late. It's never too late. All right? And as Joy said, are you cheap? Huh? Spend the money. Let's have a good contingent of TNT Toastmasters in St. Lucia. Please. Let's have a convivial Caribbean Toastmasters experience. All right? Let's move on to that. And I see today that we have got a select sampling of the creme of TNT Toastmasters here in this room. Both areas. People who are committed, who are dedicated, who are really living the dream of Toastmasters. And the district has told us that in May 2016 and October 2015, there is a chance, an opportunity for us to host another district conference. The last time we held one was in October 2008. Should we be bold enough to do so? What do you think? What do you think? Definitely. Where's the? Is it unanimous that we should do so? Huh? Exactly. I'm hearing 2 people, but I'm not hearing the voices. What do you think? Huh? The district would be accepting bids to host the conference, and bids, in fact, should be submitted later on by March 2015. 15. So we've got some time. I think the areas would get together, area councils would get together, pool the resources and decide whether TNT should really submit a serious bid. I think so. I believe I have your concurrence on this. And of course, we would, in fact, formalize the procedure later on. Well, without further ado, let me thank you for your presence, for your support at this event, and again welcome our contest chair to carry on with the rest of the program.
While we await the results of this afternoon's contest, I'd like to just jump the gun, so to speak, and just want to say thank you so much. It was an honor and a privilege being your contest chair this afternoon. It was indeed a learning experience for me, one that I would take and try to grow from this experience. What I would urge you all is that this afternoon we saw contestants step up to the plate with confidence and enthusiasm, go to competitions, and I will urge other members to dig deep and find what is their niche, whether it be humorous speaking, whether it be evaluation. There's also table topics. Find what is your niche. It's not about who comes first or who comes second, who wins or who loses. It's about nurturing oneself to become a greater manifestation of oneself, to become something that you look in the mirror at the end of the day and say, I am proud to be a Toastmaster. I am proud to be able to express myself in a way that would inspire confidence and to motivate others. Apart from our Toastmasters in the audience, I know that we have a few guests. So the guests who are present, can we, like, one by one, stand up and say something about yourself, how you enjoyed the afternoon's proceedings? To the guests in the audience, don't be afraid, we won't bite. All right, so the results are in. To help me present the awards, I'd like to welcome God to please assist me helping give out the ribbons. Yeah, thank you so much. The ribbons, the awards, we don't have the awards up yet, right? So we have some ribbons, right? So yes, all right, so for humorous competition, in third place we have Mr. Carlisle Fletcher.
Your fellow way of putting it out.
In second place, we have Mr. Kendall Garcia. And in first place, we have Ms. Shellyanne Lovell Williams.
For that moment.
And for our evaluation competition, in second place, Ms. Deanne Charles. And in first place, Mr. Tiba David Johnson. Everyone, thanks again for coming out. All right. do arrive home safely. I see there are some like refreshments. Thank you.